morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a brand new supporter card. Those V-decks over in Japan have started leaking now. We started to see some of the cards, and first up, we've got Poké Kid. Yeah. You find him fairly early on in the game. He can dress as Pikachu and Eevee and all of that. It's a new Pokemon supporter. And it's kind of exactly what we need, but it is as a supporter. What it does, according to the lovely 2new1223, haven't used him for a little while as a translator, so yay! Search your deck for one Pokemon and put it into your hand. That's what it does. It lets you just search your deck for any Pokemon, put it into your hand, and that's it. It is genuinely just a way to search for any Pokemon you like. Well, the good news is that we need this, right? I mean, we've been lamenting for a long time now, well, since the rotation hit, that we've not had Ultra Ball and we've not had Nest Ball, so we've not had good ways to search out our Pokemon. Now, what we really wanted was item cards. Because supporter cards is once during your turn, and if I play a supporter like Poké Kid, I'm not playing Cynthia. And I'm not playing Cynthia and Caitlyn. And I'm not playing Guzma and Hala. Now, obviously, there's always a possibility of playing a Lieutenant Surge's strategy, which will then allow me to play a second supporter. Well, technically third, because Lieutenant Surge +1 and then the second would actually be the third. But that's awkward. You're not always going to have it when you need it. So, yeah. It is your supporter for the turn, and that is a little bit awkward. But it is universal Pokemon search. It is, I can search for any Pokemon I like. I mean, the last time we really had this, that I can remember at least, was Master Ball. Master Ball just let you search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Now, I am aware that Ultra Ball did let you search for any Pokemon, but it also made you discard 2 cards from your hand, so it was, shall we say, fairly different. And Master Ball was an A-Spec, and A-Spec trainer cards were one of any A-Spec in your deck, but then you couldn't play any other A-Spec. And incidentally, Master Ball really didn't see much play at all, because Computer Search was amazing, and Dow's Machine was amazing, and Scramble Switch could really come handy in some particular decks, especially decks like Primal Groudon that didn't get KO'd but did use a lot of energy. So, yeah, Master Ball was, shall we say, left to the side a little bit. But as an item card, it's good. And look, if we right now found out that there was an item card coming out that did this, it just let you search for any Pokemon, it would just be over the top, phenomenally brokenly good, and everyone would play 4 in every single deck ever. That's not the way it goes, right? Item cards have significant downsides. So if we look at the kind of ones we've got at the moment, we've got Cherish Ball, that lets you search for any GX and put it into your hand. Which, the more I think about it, right, the more I dislike Cherish Ball. Because it's just like, do GX decks need any more help? Do we really want GX decks to get more love? I'm not convinced that we did want them to get any more love. So, yeah. Really, I'm not really loving that, if I'm honest with you. I don't think it's a great thing. Sorry about that. But then we got stuff like Mysterious Treasure that you have to discard a card from your hand to use, and then you can only search for Psychic or Dragon. Or Electromagnetic Radar that lets you discard 2 cards from your hand, and then search for any 2 Lightning, EX or GX, which is, again, extremely restrictive. And we do actually have a bunch of supporters that can search out your Pokemon. We've got Professor Elm's Lecture. Now, Professor Elm's Lecture lets you search for 3 Pokemon, but they've got to have 60 HP or less. And we've got Pokemaniac, which lets you search for any 3 Pokemon with a retreat cost of 4. And we've got Professor Oak's Setting that lets you search for any 3 Pokemon that are basics and have different typings, and they go straight to the bench, so Pokemon like Dedenne, for instance, would not get their coming into play ability, because you're never playing it from your hand onto your bench, you are just immediately putting it onto your bench from your deck, so you never actually get the benefit of them. Or at least they're coming into play skills. I mean, we had Jasmine, right? And Jasmine's pretty good. Jasmine lets you search your deck for any metal Pokemon, but if it is your first turn of the game and you go second, you can search for 5 metal Pokemon. We've got options, but none of them are just straight search for whatever gosh darned Pokemon you like. And that's where Poké Kid comes in so beautifully here. It is any Pokemon. It is very reminiscent, people that have been playing a while, it is very reminiscent of BB Search. Now, BB Search was a card that we had back around the Diamond and Pearl era, and what you did was you took one card from your hand, put it on top of your deck, and then you search your deck for a Pokemon, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. So you essentially shuffle a hand from your deck in. Now, this was actually sneaky even better than it looks, because at the time, Claydol was our Pokemon search option of choice for pretty much everyone. And Claydol, you would put one or two cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck, then draw till you had 6 cards in hand. So BB Search allowed you to take a card that you didn't really want, shuffle it back into your deck, and then you'd be able to draw an extra card using Claydol. So it was actually really good in that regard. And that actually brings me to a very important point about why BB Search was so good. We had Claydol, and we had Uxie. Uxie, you put it on your bench, you drew until you had 7 cards in your hand. It was basically Shaman, but as a non-EX, single prize Pokemon, and you drew an extra card. And in a format where we got Claydol and Uxie, we got an awful lot of Pokemon draw. So we're not really relying on supporter draw all that much. Which means we can afford to use our one supporter for the turn to go ahead and go, oh look, yay, now I've just gone and searched myself a Pokemon. Because you're getting your energy and your trainers and all of that using your Pokemon. That's not what we've got here with Poké Kid. Poké Kid lets you get a Pokemon and that's it. But the thing is, we've got plenty of Pokemon draw at the moment. We've got Pidgeotto that sees a lot of play in a lot of decks. Yeah, if your opponent drops an Espeon and Deoxys, they can take out lots of your Pokemon in one go, and that's kind of awkward. With the 6 energy on, they can actually take out 3 Pidgeotto and still have 2 other damage counters to drop, which is moderately terrifying, but hey-ho. And we got Zebstrika that lets you discard your hand and draw a new hand of 4 cards, which is rather nice. Obviously, we've got Jirachi to go and find our trainer cards, and I think it's fair to say that Jirachi is literally everywhere right now. Like, every deck seems to be playing 3 or 4 Jirachi. Does let you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find any trainer card and put it into your hand. It does go to sleep, but we got a skateboard that will reduce the retreat cost from 1 to 0 and let you retreat even if you're asleep, so I don't think that's the biggest downside ever. And okay, fair enough, we do have quite a lot of really good Pokemon draw right now. So maybe this is the answer. We saw players like, Robin Schultz just won the Latin American International Championship with a weird deck that played lots of one-off tag teams, and then it played, multiple Jirachi and a fairly heavy Ninetales line, and the only Pokemon search it had was Pokemon Communication. And the reason it got away with it was because it had so much Pokemon draw. But then even a deck like that really relies on Welder. So even though you can just go ahead and use Pokemon Draw, if you need something like Welder, you're not going to want Poké Kid because attaching 2 energy and drawing 3 cards is generally better than searching just for 1 Pokemon. So I think what we're going to see from Poké Kid is what we saw from BB Search. I don't think we're going to see this as a 4 of in every deck. I think we are going to see it as a 1 or 2 of in a lot of decks. We know we're getting Quick Ball, which is really good for helping us search out our basics. We know that we're getting Evolution Incense, which is really good for letting us search out our evolutions. I'll link both of those videos in the description. So maybe this is just another piece of the puzzle. Maybe this is just another card which is kind of useful and will see play and gives a bit of extra consistency. This is not really filling the gap left by Ultra Ball and Nest Ball, because they were item cards that we could just use over and over again. We could play Cynthia and then just start whacking down all of our item cards afterwards. That's not what we've got here. But what we do have here is just one more tool we've got to go and search out Pokemon, one more option, one more little consistency boost. And it is exactly that. It is a consistency boost rather than the center of your deck. But make no mistake about it, this will see a rather large amount of play, and for that reason we're giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. A good card, make no mistake about that. But not, shall we say, the number 1 card that we necessarily wanted. But I'd like to know what you think about all of this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would you? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.